biological explanation of OCD, neuroanatomical explanation. OCD and the brain. The neuroanatomical explanation of OCD explains that there's an abnormality in the central nervous system in people who have OCD. Sufferers have a faulty neural circuit that links the orbitofrontal cortex to the thalamus. An OCD brain is overactive and doesn't have an ending. Parts of the brain associated with OCD. The caudate nucleus inhibits the action of neurons that depend on the activity in the thalamus. It's a brake for the thalamic activity. The orbitofrontal cortex, or OFC, which I will now refer to it as, alerts the brain to the potential worries in the environment, decoding and representing some primary reinforcements, for example, taste and touch. The putamen is crucial for regulating movement and learning and reward processing. It's a very complex feedback loop, and it prepares and aids in movement. Globus pallidus fibres act as a braking mechanism. They control activity in the thalamus to do with planning and execution of movement. The caudate nucleus tail has a role in both motor control, learning, reward processing, and decision making. The thalamus controls alertness, conscientiousness, and how we act and respond to things. Cingulate cortex is crucial for linking emotional responses to behavior. It plays a role in decision making, detecting errors, reward and punishment, and how we adjust afterwards. Differences in a brain of a person with OCD compared to a normal person. Now, as stated before, an OCD brain is seen as overactive. A caudate nucleus in the brain of a normal person inhibits the action of globus pallidus fibres. However, in a person with OCD, it tends to be overactive. Therefore, it does not inhibit the actions of globus pallidus fibres. In an OCD brain, the caudate nucleus is overactive, leading to an overactive hypothalamus, which creates a reaction in the OCF, therefore leading to an increased stimulation and causing a loop of hyperactivity or repetitive thoughts. In the brain of someone with OCD, they have an overactive OCF. This leads to alertness, anxiety, and checking behaviors. Globus pallidus fibres allow us to forget the way it was before. However, due to the caudate nucleus not inhibiting the actions of the globus fibres, we now remember the positive reinforcement that the compulsions give us and forget what it's like to live without the compulsions. The caudate nucleus tail has a termination which stops intrusive thoughts. However, there's an issue in the angle and it doesn't finish the termination. In a person with OCD, this leads to obsessions. The thalamus. In a normal brain, it contains primitive checking and cleaning behaviors. However, it's overactive in an OCD brain, so it triggers compulsions leading to engaging in behaviors associated with cleaning behaviors and primitive checking. Strengths. Feng 2007 bred mice with a specific gene missing which is expressed in parts of an OCD brain. This led to the mice displaying excessive grooming and anxious behavior. However, this study is low in generalizability due to using animals, and you cannot compare their behavior to humans. However, mice share 70% of DNA and the same amount of brain structure and brain matter as humans. The use of antidepressants to raise serotonin levels have been successful in treatments of OCD. Therefore, if biology can remove symptoms, it can be deduced that biology caused the symptoms. OCD can therefore be seen as caused by biology due to it being treated by serotonin. Somero et al. 2007 found that antidepressants were more effective for sufferers than a placebo. As OCD runs in families, it could be due to genes that the brain function differently. Therefore, this is proof that the biological explanation is reliable due to it being inheritable. It's deterministic. It reduces the blame from the individual. This can lead to a sense of relief as well as early intervention. Now we have MRIs and PET scans. We can see into a person's brain with OCD and understand that a person's brain with OCD is overactive. We can see how they have an overactive thalamus, and we can see the activity of a person's brain with OCD whilst they're doing tasks. Therefore, this theory has scientific status. Weaknesses. Krever et al. 2012 found that other areas of the brain took over the functions of the anterior cingulate cortex. It takes up to 12 weeks for antidepressants to work when they raise serotonin levels immediately, suggesting that it's not just a biological cause of OCD. If so, behavior should have improved immediately, due to serotonin levels being raised immediately. This approach only considers the nature argument. It believes that the cause of OCD is the brain structure, not considering how it may be learnt through family members. However, It's been proven SLT is not the likely cause of OCD by children sufferers having different symptoms to their parents. Therefore, the nurture argument could not be relevant. Determinism. The fact that behavior is caused through something innate, which could remove free will. If you have this brain structure, then you're going to have OCD. This can lead to individuals acting a certain way, and it removes the blame from the individuals from the way that they act, and it can also lead to them acting how they're meant to. The cognitive explanation of OCD says that it's caused by self-doubt, the need for perfection, and feelings of responsibility. Therefore, there's more than one reason for actions like this.